Yep.
Okay, got it. Okay, so theoretically, we are live now. So hello everyone, thank you for joining us in this beautiful gathering at the winter solstice. And I was thinking about like doing a message for this period, but it kind of came up to do like a gathering, to come together and do a meditation together, also to share stuff, like we will talking with higher vibrations. Thank you for joining us for this meditation and the chat afterwards. We were talking about our teeth and ascension symptoms, like weird stuff coming out of nowhere, like physical symptoms just arising seemingly out of nowhere, which like have no real explanation. And yeah, like we were also going to address that too. Also, we're near to the end of the year, so also before Christmas, I think we won't be able to talk until Christmas. So in advance for everyone, Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us. And yeah, like Higher Vibration said that she had a message to share before we do our meditation. And please share what you have received.
All right. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me to do this with you. I really, it's a beautiful experience to share the energy with everyone. There's two things, but the one experience that a lot of people are going through right now that really ought to be addressed is that as we have moved through our own dark night of the soul experience, and if you don't know what that is, it's kind of a long explanation. So I suggest that you look it up afterward, and maybe we can go into it further at a later point. But it's simply working through the baggage of your past and things like that. But that happens in layers. And so we've been having different floods or waves of this dark night of the soul experience. However, and we did touch on this before, but it's becoming more pronounced for people, is that now we are at this point where we are actually doing ancestral kind of work. And I'm not sure if I said that correctly, but work that is not perhaps of our own lifetimes. And as a result, the experience is different, and it's causing a lot of us, including myself, to kind of feel like we're going crazy. It's almost like this bipolar, and you just like, you want to out of your skin kind of experience, because we don't resonate with that frequency of those people. Those are different individuals. Those are different energies. And so I simply want to inform you that you're not alone, and we're all going through this. Not everybody's going through it, but those of you who are, we're going through it together. We all have our own missions and our own choices that we have made in this mission process. However, to understand that it's not yours, it makes it more easy to do. It's not as scary, perhaps, and confusing. And the reason that it feels so out of tune is because it's not your energy and not your frequency space. And all that we need to do is acknowledge it without judgment, because if we try to hold it and figure out how it fits and why it is, we're holding it in place and not letting it move on. So we acknowledge it without judgment and release. And that's really the only process. It just needs to be seen. This stuff needs to be shook out and allowed to move up and on in order for all to then ascend into the next dimensional frequency space. And the second part of the message that I actually didn't realize I was going to have to say until Guardian asked me if I had a message, it was like, boom. We are a lot, as it works in the beginning, is a beautiful thing that God is and was and will always. It's like this beautiful ball of love, right? And from that separation, there was a separation that was made, though God remained intact and complete. And then from those separations, more and more and more, and it trickled down into who we are. And then we have this arbitrary number, 144,000, which is of and who we are as the beings that we are here in this space.
Yeah, like there's so many times 144 appears everywhere recently for me, at least.
In fact, I came on this meeting with you today at 11:44. It was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But to understand that now, a lot of us have talked about it before, but many of you might not be aware. And so it's good to understand. So as we trickle down in a soul experience, we fragmented, I guess is the way to say it. We separated and became these other souls that were also embodying bodies and in this experience. However, as we work on allow this ascension experience to occur and move up higher and higher in frequency, there's this merging of yourself that is occurring. You're meeting your higher self and becoming that higher self. And that's why we are going through these interesting and maybe even strange experiences of finding that you feel like maybe you're a walk-in or that you're a new experience. You're simply becoming more complete. And this will continue to persist. And please be aware that there's no reason for alarm and that it is of love. That's the message that I need to tell you.
Yeah, like also I received the inspiration for today's meditation to be about ancestral healing.
Ooh.
Yeah, I also put it on the community post that it's going to be about ancestral healing. And yeah, like that's kind of the theme that I've also been exploring the past 2 weeks, maybe something similar. Like Fania brought it up very clearly that she was working on that she also sent me some meditation or a webinar that Steve Noble did with ancestral healing, connecting to all your genetic lines, all your ancestors, all your bloodlines, because like we like all connect them, all the, I know, like going back 12 generations, that's like hundreds of people. People's karma that we are connected to, and we're here to heal that basically.
Mm-hmm.
And to bring it all together, bring all the nasty stuff or all the baggage that has already happened and bring it into completion and release it basically. Like did anyone, like when you're doing maybe your planetary work or when you're meditating, have you noticed that the grid that was kind of there to hold souls trapped in the earth revolving wheel has been like very loose, and like people who passed maybe hundreds of years ago but were stuck here are like able to leave now, and they can move on if they want to. They can resolve their issues and move on to something else.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, this is why we are noticing more and more that that maybe not just, it feels like a more negative or a lower vibrational frequency people and beings are being more drawn to us. They're not doing this in order to attack us exactly. It's that we are now this highway through and up, and now that that's available, I'm really happy that you mentioned that. I've been noticing that too.
Yeah, like Kat just asked a great question. Why is our higher self blending with us here on Earth? What about all other parallel lives? I can't pronounce it, parallel lives. Yeah, like that's also kind of part of our higher self too, like our expanded self, basically. Oh, planes and dimensions. Yeah, like it also what higher vibration said, that all these weird stuff like emotions, like also Jacaranda Marie said in her last comment, I think on the full moon video, that she's like receiving these bursts of anger and like strong emotions coming up from nowhere. And yeah, like you said very well, that it's not necessarily ours, like we're connected to it, and now like all of that old stuff, or which is not entirely our stuff, is coming up to be processed basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, like that's also part of us in a way, so we're integrated too. Yeah, like we are very complex beings basically, and this whole process of ascension and moving into the higher dimensions is about us becoming more aware of who we are as a cosmic being in human form, basically being more aware of our like all of ourselves in other dimensions, other timelines, our other incarnations that are relevant here right now. Like that's also like a common thing that I'm observing, that many people people are remembering stuff from other lifetimes like very vividly, for the past 1.5 years, that was like very much the case for me too. Like so many stuff were coming back from, especially from Atlantis, for me at least. Like, what have you been remembering, kind of vibrations?
Oh, so many things. Once I found myself in this, the best way to describe it, I suppose, is ancient Greece, but it wasn't. I kind of understood that instead of what I was doing was I was kind of like, I love history. I'm obsessed with it. And I was owning it and collecting it for myself instead of, and exploring it rather than understanding that I needed to let it come in and go out. And that was where I kind of stopped doing that, was when I got to that ancient Arcadia space, and it turned out that it was Lemuria and all this stuff that was beautiful and to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And to see that, because the way that time is, and to answer that parallel lives question, we are such a strict, as the way that we think in this linear fashion does not apply in any other state. And so to try to fully wrap my mind around it in a way that I can articulate it is almost impossible. It's as if you have a bucket of water and you pour all this paint in there and you stir it together for us, and it's just, but it's easy to define and true in a higher state of being. And so all these little points are all at the same time. There's no linear time. There is no 1, 2, 3. It is all, and it is now. For instance, when Gaia sent out the signal for help because she was ascending, but there were things that were keeping her down, that was 100 years ago, but that was also yesterday, and when the call went out for volunteers, almost everybody answered back. We are the few who were picked. And that's important to know, is that we came here because we know what to do. We are the most equipped. We have the tools that we need. And right now, that's why we're connecting at long last. And so as we connect with each other, it reminds us of these past experiences, only so we can see them, accept that they were, and let them go and move on. Because each of our experiences, we bring in this thing. It's kind of like a karmic anchoring that creates this baggage that keeps us in a place that worked when we were trying to thrive within the matrix space, but we're not there anymore. Does that make any sense?
Kind of does. Like, I also got recently had these realizations, like, as we came in to create like a new alternative and how to live in a more better holistic way, and like the whole system is kind of rigged against it. Like the whole structure of society, like very subtly, is like constructed in a way that it is like impossible to achieve it like in a grand scale or something similar. But still we did. Yeah, like that's why it's very important to do it in your own life the more you can, basically, because it's like creating this hole in the whole structure of the web, and it's like taking it apart one piece at a time, basically. And that's why it is falling apart right now, because we've been doing it for, I know, like years or decades. It depends on each and every one of us, but yeah, like we are here and we're witnessing it in the front seats, how the whole thing is falling apart basically in front of our eyes.
And then falling together.
Yeah, but at the same time, like the new is rising simultaneously. So it's not like it's going to be a total apocalypse and we are going to live in caves or anything like that. Like the new is taking its place. I think that is why it's taking so long to like see tangible evidence or something similar of what is actually happening, because it's kind of like a delicate process, this transitioning. Like if you go too fast or you rip too much out at once, you kind of trash the whole system and you create a bigger problem to begin with. Right. Just like with implant removals, like I don't know if any of you have seen how those work. Like they can be like these tendrils, like tentacles or like roots that like ingrained in each part of your being, and it's like everywhere. And if you were to like to take it and like rip it apart, then you would like trash your entire energetic system if you were to do that. And that's pretty much the case for everything here. Like all that darkness and negativity has like was so ingrained and is like so in everything. Like everything is like perpetual, no, not perpetuated, but it's everywhere basically, and it's trying to infest everything, and we have to remove it one piece at a time basically.
Exactly.
I think like someone said a very good analogy. It's like I think, what do you call that, the game with the little bricks? I think it's Jenga or something similar, when you
Oh,
have a tower and you have to like carefully pull out the pieces so it doesn't fall. And that's kind of, I think, what's happening right now. So people that are manifesting these overall physical changes are like very careful not to trash the whole Jenga tower at once.
right.
Yeah, because everyone would suffer from that. But yeah, for us who are like awake and aware of what is happening, it's very frustrating. But yeah, like there isn't really much more we can do about it right now.
Right. At the same time, just remember that um, everything has so many backup plans and fail-safe plans and all these things, and that there is no failure in this, and that moreover, we have already won. And that's what I was trying to convey before about the different levels of the densities and stuff, and that it's like you're watching a rerun just with different actors playing the same characters, because it's already been done. We have already done this in a higher dimensional space. A lot of us have been having these nighttime experiences for a long time where we've been working
Yeah,
in meditation also. And we've got to see, like I saw something that happened in my timeline, my linear time happened in January, but then um, I actually witnessed it in this space at the end of April. Like it's that it's already happened, and we already have succeeded. So there's no reason to be afraid. In fact, the closer to love that you can go and the farther away from fear, the easier it will be for you. You're going to get there anyway. It just will feel better and be more enjoyable if you can stay in a place of love.
absolutely. Okay. So a lot of us have already gathered, so we're going to start the meditation and see how it goes and what comes up basically. Okay, so everyone stay in a comfortable seated position with your back straight. Close your eyes if you wish, like it's good for not being distracted by your monitor or phone. Okay, and I should also put my phone on silence just for safety's sake. Sorry for that. Okay, so let's take a deep breath through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. As you're breathing in, you're feeling how your heartbeat is starting to slow down a bit. Your body is becoming more calmer. Your mind is becoming more calmer, peaceful. Breathe in the peace. And let go all the tension. Let go all the tension in your body. Breathe in the peace. And exhale all the tension from your body and mind. Visualize and feel yourself in a state of perfect centeredness. All energy centers align in yourself. Breathe in the peace. And exhale all the tension from your mind and body. And when you exhale, visualize how all the tension and all the busyness is like flowing out down into the earth where it's being neutralized. As you are breathing slowly, Feel your heart, how it's beating. Visualize a beautiful spark of light within your heart center. Feel it, how it's beating. And see how that beautiful spark of light expands into a little flame, like a candle flame. A beautiful, radiant white candle flame in your heart center. This little divine spark is your true essence, your connection to source creative energy. And as you're breathing in and out, your breath is fueling it. You can feel how it flows. It starts to expand. It starts to grow, encompassing your entire being. Slowly, gently expanding through all your body, through all your being. In a perfect pace for you. With each breath, it's flowing more and more. You may visualize it, how it's flowing through your veins. This beautiful white radiant fire is flowing through your nervous system, through all energetic pathways, expanding to all cells and particles of your being, burning in this white, radiant, bright frequency. And know that the white flame encompasses all frequencies of the rainbow. And it may shift its color according to your needs from time to time. But we start with the all-encompassing crystalline white. And if the need arises, it will shift its color according to what you're doing. So if that happens, that is perfectly all right. It may also embody multiple spectrums at a time. You may see it as overlapping colors coming together. That is also perfectly fine, all in perfect flow. And now you may visualize how this beautiful white radiant light is flowing through your entire being. It is crystallizing each cell and particle of your being, so you're able to house more of your higher self. Breathe in more of the source creative energy that is here, that is showering our entire world, blessing it, nourishing it, assisting it in its growth, healing it, pushing us forward in our evolution. Now you have raised your physical structure and your energetic pathways to a higher state of being, able to house more of your higher self, to be able to channel more of the higher divine frequencies while you're here in physical form. And now we ask you to focus more on your heart center, so everything that you do from now on shall be emanated from your center of your heart, from that beautiful spark, the radiant white light, which connects you back to source creative energy, to the central sun. And everything that you do, everything that you say, everything that you see will flow from this epicenter, from this core. This is your center of power, source creative energy that gives you life in this form, and which allows you to create multiple things, which allows you to transmute density into the purity of God. And we now ask the Heavenly Father up above, the central sun, and our Earth Mother down below us to unite in us. Expand in both directions from your heart center up to the central sun and down to the core of the earth, which is like a smaller version of the central sun, merely situated at the core of the earth, and become this white, radiant pillar of fire, this spiral of fire that reaches up to the heavenly realms and brings down the heavenly frequencies to the core of the earth. And through this divine unification, this bridging of heaven and earth, we are bringing down all the necessary frequencies for healing and evolution for the collective. Visualize and feel how you are connecting heaven to earth. You are this pillar of fire, expanding up and below. And now, through the core of Mother Earth, we are all connected. Through her flower of life, we are all interconnected. We are uniting all our intent across the globe, on all planes, dimensions, all timelines. Even though if you're listening to it, when it's not an actual transmission, know that you can tap into this energy at all times. It is always there. In this state, energy is and time is fluid. Visualize how we are all interconnected across the globe. All pillars of fire are uniting in the core of Mother Earth, reaching up to the heavenly realms, bringing down the heavenly frequencies for all to enjoy. We are the eternal Father embodied in the physical form of the Mother, merging the fire and the earth in physical form. We are spiritual yet physical. We are eternal yet finite. And we have came here to bring light and healing to this world, to find remedy and solutions for the problems that have been perpetuated for many generations. And through this interconnected state, we will gather together. And through our heritage, all our blood lineages and all the things that we have inherited through this life, through this incarnation, we will bring remedy and healing to them in perfect order and perfect love. Know that when we are doing this together, we are holding space for each other and amplifying and making the process more easier for each individual who participates in this gathering. Now, as we stand together, still being the pillar of fire, we ask Father God and Earth Mother to be with us, hold space, assist and guide us through this divine progress. We ask all archangels and all angels of the heavenly realms to be with us. You may visualize them standing around each individual in circles, forming circles upon circles, guarding us, guiding us, holding space, making sure that everything flows in perfect order and perfect ease. According to God's will, all shall flow, and we will bring remedy to all to whom we have a connection with. May that be through blood lineage, or may that be on a soul level. And now you are this pillar of fire, and from the center of your heart, you may visualize like tree branches reaching out through time and space, through all dimensions, through all incarnations, branches upon branches reaching out in all directions, touching other sparks of fire through the space-time, through all planes and dimensions. And these beautiful branches of white fire that are reaching out through eternity are touching beautiful, white, radiant sparks of fire that are similar to yours. These are all your connections through the space-time continuum. And if you look closely, you may observe more tangible energies around these sparks. Some may take human forms, and some may take other shapes and form that may be foreign to your culture. Know that we are healing things that are not necessarily connected to this earth realm right now. These three branches of light are reaching across the cosmos. For what has happened here on the Earth plane has connections and is basically the effect of many things that happened in the past, and many other worlds and realms had a say and had a working here, which brought about this state of being here on this planet. And we're also here to heal that. That is why all you have your star connections, the star races, for it is very relevant right now in this incarnation, not just for broadening your perspective of the cosmos, but also you're coming back to heal these ancestral lines. And now this beautiful white radiant fire that is emanating from your heart center always is sending more love, is sending more radiant, bright white fire to these all sparks across the cosmos, and also here on the Earth realm. For each individual, this may look different. Just simply let it flow and just go with the experience. You may follow these branches of white fire if you wish. See where some of them lead. What are their destinations through time and space, through all dimensions, to other star systems, to other planets, to other civilizations, wherever they need to go. But at the same time, be grounded, the here and now, because this is where you are, this is where you're creating right now, this is where you're transmuting all the density right now. So wherever your intention may flow, whatever you may be exploring or observing through this interaction, always stay present in your pillar of fire, for this is your center, this is your point of power, through which you can create, through which you can transform. And now we urge you to feel more this interconnectedness. Breathe it in, know that you are connected all times, not just when you're doing this meditation. Know that you're interconnected with all aspects of yourself in a conscious manner, always. The only difference being now is that you're more aware of this connectedness. And know that the more that you do this, not necessarily for the purpose of healing or any transmutation, just for the purpose of self-exploration and integration, know that this beingness, this state of being, of interconnectedness, of being aware of more of who you are, will integrate more into your waking consciousness, into your everyday activities. And you will feel more vast than you have been before. You may feel that your presence extends far beyond the reaches of your physical structure. Your presence, your sense of self expands far beyond what you see in a physical sense. It may extend into the past, into the present, through the time space to other dimensions, to other star systems. You will find that you will be able to shift your perception from one point of spark to the other easily. You can shift your focus from one life to the other easily. And whenever you do that, you will find that all of these incarnations, all these connections are in the now. You're experiencing them in the now, regardless where they may be situated on the time-space continuum or dimensions. You may experience them in the now. For in the higher realms, there is no time, there is no space, for your consciousness can flow freely through the multiverse whenever you wish to do so. But now, during this interaction, while you are the mighty pillar of fire connecting heaven and earth, we will use this interconnectedness, this state of awareness, to bring healing and remedy to all these sparks whom you have connected right now, for they have been brought up to your attention. For in the beginning of this meditation, you have stated the intent of bringing healing, not just to yourself, but through your interconnectedness, to all these sparks, to all these incarnations. You are here now to bring healing to them, to resolve issues in the past, so we can alleviate all the pain, all the pressure. We can remedy all the situations that are present in our lives, in our families, in our bloodlines, and also in the collective here on planet Earth. For now is the time of letting go of the past, letting go of everything that didn't work so far out. But the only way of doing that is by bringing it up to the forefront. That is why we're experiencing so much friction in your life and also in your collective. For it is time to let it go. But the only way to let it go is only by bringing it up in the now, present moment. And from this state of interconnectedness, being one with you, from your heart center, being one with the Eternal Father and the Earth Mother, and guided by all the angelic realms, from your heart center, we send forgiveness to ourselves and to all our connections. For the key frequency in bringing remedy and healing to all situations is forgiveness, not just for ourselves, but to all participants, willing or unwilling in these co-creations. For there has been much unintended co-creation in your realm. Much unintentional chaos has been caused by not being aware of the full extent of your actions. But now we are feeling forgiveness for ourselves, for we have not been aware of the extent of your actions. For this realm is the state of limitation. And when you have all came in, you were not aware of who you are, how things work. But now in this state of interconnectedness, you are much more aware of your divine true self, what you are capable of. And we say that you are fully capable of remedying everything that has been created here on Earth, one step at a time, one day at a time. Feel forgiveness in your heart, flowing from this eternal fire in your heart center. Feel the frequency of forgiveness for yourself. You may repeat within, I forgive myself, for I did not know what I was participating in. I was not aware of the ramifications of my actions. But now I am more fully aware that I am a sovereign creator being. I'm more responsible for my actions. I'm fully aware that all decisions that I do can have a cosmic impact on the whole. For we are all interconnected, and this is why I choose forgiveness and unconditional love for all life here on Earth and beyond as well, for we are all interconnected. And hence your galactic connection, you're all interconnected with your star brothers and sisters, sending you much love and gratitude for the work that you're doing here right now. And as you're emanating and sending this beautiful love vibration of forgiveness, unconditional love, acceptance of self, and acceptance of others, you may see it as like little pulses of light traveling through the light branches to all these other sparks, which all other incarnations, all other versions of you. These beautiful love vibration sparks are traveling to those incarnations and they're coming back to you. You're sending them to the other points of yourself, and it's coming back all to you. All the unconditional love and forgiveness is going out and coming back in through these pathways of light. For what you send out is what you get back. And you may feel how this affects the sensation of forgiveness for self, acceptance of self is becoming stronger within your heart center, fueling the eternal fire within your heart, making it stronger, larger, more expansive. And at the same time, all your extensions, all other aspects of yourself are becoming more radiant, more brighter. for you are strengthening each other. You're strengthening the bond between each other. You're becoming more aware of your interconnectedness, letting energy flow back and forth, sending healing, love vibration to all aspects of yourself, all your lineage. And you're receiving it back, going back and forth in all directions. You may breathe it in and send it back, making your bond stronger and stronger with each breath. Being more aware of who you are as a divine creator being, expanding through the multiverse in all directions, through the space-time continuum in all directions. You're becoming more of who you are with each breath. Breathe in this state of interconnectedness. Feel the vastness of your being. Feel how you expand through the cosmos in all directions. Feel how each spark of light is you in another form. You may feel your attention flowing through the cosmos, seeing all stars, passing through nebulas, passing through other galaxies. And you may sense that all these stars are you, just in another form. They are all you. You may send all these aspects of yourself, your unconditional love, your gratitude for being. You may feel how it's coming back to you, amplified, coming back like an echo. Reverberating unconditional love through the cosmos. And as now you have taken this beautiful detour through the cosmic field, you're returning back to planet Earth, feeling your expanded nature here in your physical body, bringing back your awareness more in your physical state. You're still the pillar of fire, and all that you do is emanated from your heart center. But now you have experienced more of your vastness, your true beingness, your interconnectedness. And you're breathing in this beautiful sensation of your true being, of this vast cosmic being that you are, expanding across the cosmos. Breathe it in and know that this is always in you. You can always access it. And the more you do it, the more you will feel it in your day-to-day life. The more it will integrate and merge into your so-called real life. The more expanded your vision and senses will become with each passing day, the more you do this activation. And know that what you have done right now can be used for many themes. You can do it for healing, for self-exploration, for bringing in information, or whatever you are guided to do so, whatever your excitement and joy brings you and guides you to do. Now you have brought a lot of healing, acceptance of self, forgiveness, unconditional love for self and for all beings, all your connections, assisting in the process of letting go, finding a natural healing solution for all problems. For all problems and difficulties, there's always a remedy or solution. And know that you will always find the solutions that you need to find when you are centered, when your mind and heart is clear. You will always be guided on what to do. Center yourself in your heart, connect with the heavenly realms and the core of Mother Earth. Be the pillar of fire. And from this center state of being, ask for guidance, assistance, protection, healing, whatever you need in your day-to-day life. It is yours. All you need to do is ask. Now we ask for all aspects of ourselves to reintegrate in perfect balance and flow. You're becoming more aware in a conscious manner of your interconnectedness with all aspects of yourself. This may manifest in remembering. This may manifest in the changed state of being. You will be aware of yourself, or you will perceive yourself in a different way from now on, or whenever you do this interconnected meditation. You may perceive yourself as a different being, for you're reintegrating all the experiences that you had in other lifetimes, all the knowledge, all the wisdom. You're reintegrating them back. You're becoming more of who you are in a conscious manner, in an integrated manner in this lifetime. In perfect balance and flow for you. And now from this beautiful state of being, you can bring much healing to yourself and to all who need it. Now we have brought balance, stability to all our connections. And when you bring peace and balance within yourself, you're emanating it to them, to all your relations, all your ancestors, all your connections. You're sharing this state of beauty, this state of peace with all, assisting them and guiding them in a subtle yet profound way in their own journey, in perfect flow with all. We are grateful for this interaction and know that all is well, flowing with ease in perfect order and balance. Know that it is done and all is well. Thank you. And so it is. And so it is. You may feel your breath becoming more stronger. You may breathe more quickly. You move around your body a bit. Feel how you're becoming more present of yourself, being anchored in your physical body. You're becoming more aware of your physical surroundings, that you're sitting in your room or wherever you may be situated in your earth reality. And I welcome you back. Yeah, like the more you do this, the more you will integrate this state of interconnectedness in your waking reality. So yeah, like the more aware you will be of who you truly are. Okay, so how is everyone feeling? I hope it was, many of you have catched the majority of the meditation.
That was beautiful.
Thank you for amplifying the energies, higher vibrations.
Thank you.
Okay, so oh yeah, like please share your thoughts or what you have seen in the chat box if you want to share what you have seen or experienced. Yeah, like until then, like what have you seen, higher vibrations? What has happened on your end?
You know, I have to say it's really interesting and cool that almost always when we do these meditations, I do these meditations with you. I don't we've never done it where I've been on the screen the same time, but I've done many of your meditations, and
Mhm.
always, but more and more as I've done them with you, I've heard the messages or been guided toward or see what something that just before you say it. And
Yeah.
like it's really neat. And when we got to that, when you got to that point about the pillars of life of light connecting and all that, I was already seeing that. And when you said that, it like amplified it as if it like activated everyone else or many others that they were already doing it. And it turned into this beautiful light web, the vastness of the all. And it's just such a small, finite space of everything that I was experiencing, but it was just so beautiful. And to see that pulsation of light and connectedness, and then the global forgiveness in unison, that I actually started to cry about that. That was so profound to experience with everyone. Thank you for that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, like Fritzi loves you very much when she hears like when he hears someone talking on on the laptop or whatever, he's always here. I think she, but yeah, like when it's a recording, he doesn't care. I think she's said. I think he. I like. I'm mixing up the genders because our dog is female and our cat is a male. Okay, like he's feeling the energies, I guess, of people coming through the phone or where I'm on the laptop having a Zoom meeting. He's always here. Like, yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. So yeah, like that's very cool. Like I thought it's going to be like this great transmutational stuff, but it was more like feeling forgiveness for yourself and like finding the remedy within our own hearts, basically. And since we're all like super interconnected, even if we're like not aware of it, like 99.99% of the time, we are not aware of that consciously, but still we're like still always having this back and forth energy exchange with all parts of ourselves. So we are like creating this sense of peace, balance, and healing and forgiveness within ourselves, and we're like sending it in all directions. And the cool stuff about it is like yeah, like I never experienced it through meditations, but I experienced it through like interactions with Mother Earth and like other beings that, okay, like I when maybe like I greet someone, like, okay, like I'm sending you this unconditional love. And sometimes I had it with like light beings. There was some ET I don't remember. I could barely see him. Like it's very strange with ETs. Like I kind of see their energy more than like a physical thing. I think more of them are not even physical that I'm connected with. And I was like sending him like, okay, hi, and I'm like sending this unconditional love to you. I was like, boom, back the whole like 10 times stronger back, and I was like overwhelmed, overwhelming emotionally.
Wow, that's
But
beautiful.
yeah, like that's also kind of yeah, like for many of us, you said that you were like tearing up or sensing this overwhelming love. Yeah, like that's like a total natural side effect when you're like connecting with the higher realms and you're like receiving this unconditional love. Like that's how our emotional bodies react to it, basically. So that's perfectly cool. That means it's happening.
Yeah,
Something's actually happening. Yeah,
exactly.
like yeah, like I heard for some people it's like strange, like they think that something's wrong. Yeah, like, it's completely fine. Like especially in the beginning, like it can be very overwhelming
Yeah.
depending on like what is happening. Like for years I had like I wouldn't say like problems, but like this difficulty when I had my spiritual awakening. Very oddly, like I had a Christian upbringing, but I was never religious. And my first teacher was Christ, and I was like, "What is happening?" And yeah, like it was very odd. And I also heard like from other people that were very like shamanic, and they were meditating, and Christ was coming in all the time, and they were like saying like, "Get out of here! Like I don't believe in you! Like what are you doing here always?" Yeah, like but yeah, like he was kind of the first being that kind of strongly came through to teach me like forgiveness, basically. because that was like the first part in my whole awakening process, that I had to find forgiveness and unconditional love for myself and others. And all the time when I had like interactions with him, it was like so overwhelming. Like it was too much, and like emotion, it was too much for me. But after a few years, I got the hang of it. I think like I healed a lot of stuff, and like generally, I guess my vibration became clearer and stronger, so I was not overwhelmed by his presence anymore.
Right.
Yeah, and it was also similar with like Thoth, but he was, yeah, like it's not his emotional energy, he's just
More of a
overwhelming.
thinker.
What did you say?
I'm sorry. He's more of a thinker. He's more of an intellectual.
Yeah, like that was not like an emotional, loving energy. It was
Yeah.
just an overwhelming energy. Like, oh my God. Especially, yeah, like it gave me migraines after a few activations, and like, okay, like we have to take a break of this. But yeah, after a while, I've gotten used to that energy too. I kind of, I guess, like I integrated that too, that thinker energy, and it's much more pleasant now. It's much more workable.
I still struggle with it, to be honest. I connect with the emotion aspect so much more. But one other thing I would like to point out really quickly, if you wouldn't mind, that
Okay, sure.
I was able to witness the sloughing off of this, like it looked like a filament or a residue of grayness around everybody. And I got to see the sloughing off of it. And when that occurred, that self-forgiveness, then allowing yourself to experience love at its fullest, I don't know a better word, but to say that I was so proud to be part of that and to get to witness that. And I want to thank you for that. Was just so beautiful that everybody just got to just, I don't know, leave behind that barrier. And that was just beautiful.
Yeah, like, and everyone like can do this on their own. Like there is no like right or wrong way of doing this stuff, basically. Like when you, how I start all my meditations is basically like from our heart center, to connect with the divine spark inside your heart center, extend to the Heavenly Father, and which is like the divine masculine aspect. You can maybe see it like the sun or something, and go down to the core of Mother Earth, which is like also like a little sun situated in the middle of the earth, which is the divine feminine. And you're like merging the two. You may call in the archangels or whomever you are related to or who you want to work with. And yeah, like from that centered state of being, yeah, like you can do like whatever. You can bring healing, do like grid work, connect with other aspects of yourself, or I know, like you can be very creative. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you're guided to do so, basically. Okay, so Kat, okay, I saw unicorns and dragons too. Okay. I've never seen unicorns, like ever.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I've never seen unicorn. Like I heard of them, but I've never seen them. I guess like they're beyond my realm of perception, all right?
Perhaps.
Okay. So maybe, does anyone have like a question that you would like us to address before we close? Maybe until then.
We've been
Yeah.
doing this a long time. I didn't realize that was a long meditation. It didn't feel like it.
Yeah, like for me it felt longer, but it didn't. Oh, like when we were doing this stuff, like time is very relative, or I don't know. Sometimes it feels like yeah, like since I didn't have much time recently to sit down and meditate for an hour, like the whole thing started to like condense, and it feels like I'm doing like half an hour work in 10 minutes or something similar. Yeah, that's also kind of happens also when you're like the very deep state of trance, like it feels like only 20 minutes passed, but in truth it was like 2 hours. I also had that too once. That was very strange.
I went pretty deep in that one. I actually got some physical healing as a result too. I noticed my body started to vibrate a little bit and like I was just like twitching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, like that's also like a natural side effect when you're like energetically stuff is like realigning inside of your body. And since basically I think you had medical experience or knowledge, I think like a nervous system, nervous cells like communicate through electricity or pulses.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, it's kind of like realigning, and you can like feel like electricity going through your body if like something very strong is happening. I had that too with like implant removals. Like it was like, I know, like an electric shock went through my nervous system or something similar. So that's completely normal too. You're not having an epileptic seizure or something.
And it's beautiful, in fact.
Yeah, and the more aligned you are, then the less it happens. Like at the beginning, if you're doing like a lot of like heavy clearing, then it can be very radical. Like depending on how deep you go and how intense what you're doing is. Like if you're doing very intense clearing and you're going very deep, then it's probably going to shake you up a bit. But yeah, the more clearer you are, the less you will have these jolts and frictions in your body, basically.
Right.
Okay. I'm trying to sift through the comments, but I see maybe there isn't. Hey, Guardian, what did you see? Oh, like I kind of described through the meditation what I was seeing. Yeah, like I've seen these very beautiful, like light branches, like spreading all across the cosmos. And I was like very surprised that we were like going through and like taking this detour across the stars. I was not expecting that. I'm like, okay, like whatever. Yeah, like it kind of started as a healing, but basically it turned out to be this meditation when you like consciously integrate more of your aspects, or just getting people to basically assisting you to feel how it is, how is it like to be the super vast conscious being, to be more aware of all aspects of yourself. I think that's was kind of what it ended up being at the end. And yeah, like when you're having those experiences of yourself being this super vast being, when you're like all encompassing inside of yourself, then yeah, like when you're ending that, then have the intent to bring it in, to integrate it in a conscious manner so you can access that state more easily. And also when you do this interconnected thing, meditation, you will find that you will be, I know, if maybe you're a healer or you're channeling, bringing through information, writing books, you're an artist, a musician, writer, whatever, you will find that you will receive information and inspiration like super easily. So if you're an artist, this is like a secret hack that you can do. Many artists struggle with creativity and inspiration, and this is like the super way of like overcoming that, because you're like always, you can easily tap into the multiverse of yourself and bring in inspiration for whatever you need, basically.
Right. Which is probably why most movies and things, that most scripts that you read and most books as well as movies are actual accounts that are very similar to things that have occurred or that are occurring. It's just that they were channeled and then put into a Hollywood depiction of it. And, you know, like, oh, sci-fi half the time is actually documentary. Wow.
Yeah, like it's, I mean, not necessarily one by one, but yeah, like it's kind of based on those stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you know of James Cameron's work. I bet some of you across the ages have seen his movies. For example, like he, of course, he never admitted these stuff, but I bet he has some kind of connections on the higher realms. Like, for example, if I bet some of you seen the Terminator movies, the older ones, and he was saying in the documentary that he was like directing this movie and he had like a fever dream, like he was very sick, and he had this horrible nightmare of this chrome skeleton standing in the fire and coming for him. And that's what birthed the Terminator franchise, basically. And that's like also pretty similar to these artificial intelligences that are kind of trying to like suppress humanity, especially that you have that Chrome guy that's like the shapeshifter AI in the second movie. Like that's like super creepy. Like I've seen those stuff on the Astral. Like like when it looks like human, but it's not. I mean, they don't change their shape from Chrome, but it's pretty much accurate of how they function.
Kind of morphing and changing, as
Yeah,
well as the first Star Trek, the original in the 60s or whatever. I just found out that the writer of that actually sat in on the Law of One Raw channelings.
yeah, I
For,
hear that too.
yeah, so I don't know. That could be a coincidence. It could not. I don't believe much in coincidence, but I thought that was fascinating.
I think Star Trek was like brought back to see these concepts in the collective through generations. So this whole possibility of us like going and exploring the cosmos and stuff becomes like a part of our subconscious in a sense. So we bring it about to actually manifest it, and we are manifesting it. Like it's not that visible right now, but I don't know, like it is already happening to a certain extent, but hopefully in our lifetime it will be more public.
The geeks were right.
Also the whole stuff, yeah, like it's, I know, like time travel comes into that whole thing with seeding of these ideas. And also what I was like doing some research also in American history, and that also becomes very trippy when you go deep into the rabbit hole with the whole, like, why was America founded the way it was? And why are the things happening that are happening now? Like, why have been like laws put in the Constitution that have been never used and now they are coming into effect? When you think about it, you're like, okay, like this is starting to become very science fiction-y. I don't know what. So it's going to be very interesting.
It is.
Yeah, and also like I don't know if many of you know that. Yeah, like I think the founding fathers have their roots in Freemasonry, and basically when they created America the way it is, they named it like New Atlantis.
Interesting. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
So yeah, and also in the prophecies it was said when like also like Thoth, I think there are some kind of prophecies from him, like when the age of light comes, then my homeland will rise from the depths. So
Interesting.
New Atlantis is rising.
I just saw something that someone had the new dollar bill for the American dollar bill. On the back side of it, if you change the resolution so it's like a darker saturation, that image actually looks like the face of an alien's face.
Yeah,
So
I've seen this too. There are so many things in a $1 bill.
I know.
I don't know if they're like intentional or people are just kind of painting a bit of nuances over so it makes some faces or some symbols.
It's interesting. And the thing is that the idea of the dollar is a form of some type of control. And we've known that for the longest time. And we're pulling away from that, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, like basically all form of money is basically like a tool of control. Like I think the Palladians said it in the ET 101 channeling that like we are in an economic slave system.
Yes.
So we live in very lavishly decorated cells.
Yeah.
But we are, yeah, like when you're trying to move out of the system, you just can't. Or when they want to do something, there's not much moving out of it, sadly. So, and we're like feeling it right now. Many of us, especially in Australia, like I hear some very bad stuff from their part of the world.
Right.
And all our hearts and love go out to you. Like, I hope it passes soon. Like it seems like it's going to, but let's hope sooner than later.
Right.
But it probably would not happen before Christmas. Although it would be cool, like to have a Christmas present.
That would be the most amazing Christmas present ever.
Yeah. We've been waiting it for 12,000 years.
And the thing is that something else too is that even though we really do glom onto these dates and these times and spaces and stuff, it's all in the same moment. And like this is the winter solstice right now, and we all agreed upon this time to be a time of this heightened awareness in this energy space. But is there is no time stamp for this. This energy can be accessed in a month or a month ago or even longer. It's always accessible. It's simply the limitations that we put on it for ourselves.
Yeah, it's very cool. Also regarding Star Trek, something came up again. Like I bet some of you did see it, especially like the earlier ones, the first few movies, and maybe the Next Generation, I think, when Gene Roddenberry, who actually had these contacts or participated in these channeling stuff, like it's so freaky. Like I've seen Star Trek when I was like a teen, I think, or in my early 20s, and I kind of forgot about it, like details at least. And in recent years, I kind of like, after I had all these cosmic experiences, I started watching like Next Generation again. I was like, oh my God, like I can't believe like someone actually made a TV show about what I was seeing. Yeah, there are like stuff like rooms or equipment and like costumes or equipment or stuff like that that are like almost not entirely, but like 80% is kind of there already. So it's very strongly based on those real stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it's very freaky. Yeah, so it's absolutely like definitely like this. This is the seeding of these concepts in the subconscious of humanity, basically. I
Right.
think that's the whole purpose of these, not all science fiction, because there are there that want to create fear. And I think only like Star Trek is the only one that has this beautiful, positive view of the future of humanity. Like all the other Hollywood interpretations are like, everyone is destroyed and aliens are bad and everyone kills everyone and we hate each other.
Right.
And we're
And
like, they're projecting our crap from the present into the future, which is not very healthy.
right. And the same thing was true for examples like in the Bible. I'm the Revelation story of like, oh, the end of the world's going to be horrible and all this stuff. It's it maybe was at one point a possible timeline that we're not in, and that's
Yeah,
the main
but
point.
when was that written? Like I don't know, when was it like more than 1,000 years ago, I presume.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. I know that a lot of the books in the Bible were word to mouth for 500 years before they were written down, and then edited and translated and however whatever happens along that path.
Yeah,
But
it was censored a few times over by the
and
church in a few statements.
I've been hearing a lot of people over and over lately talking about this feels like it looks like the end of the world. And I just kind of wanted to point that out, that if it is the end of the world, that means the beginning of this beautiful space. It's not, we're not fire and brimstone on it's beautiful. It's a good experience, and it's something worth growing toward. It's good.
Yeah, like, but also in the Revelations, okay, like all these horrible stuff happen, but at the end, like all of it is like resolved, and all the bad stuff like go down, and like give room to the new growth, basically,
Exactly.
to the coming of light.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe some parts of the world are experiencing those horrible stuff. So who knows?
Yeah. It sounds like some areas are. There is one thing I wanted to point out. You brought about Star Trek. I know I keep going on, but the icon, the little thing, the little badge,
Mhm.
it's the same as the U.S.
Space Force.
Force, and then it's also the same symbol as the a couple of different races of alien and ETs that interact with us actually. And
I haven't known that.
I can't actually remember their names right now, so I guess I'm not supposed to say it, but I've seen it more than once, at least twice. And it's just fascinating that just cycles through so many times, that particular symbol is some type of like in charge of helping humanity, or not even humanity specifically, but of creatures and beings in this life, you know.
Yeah.
And when we were in that space of meditation, the realization came over that we are not even beings, which is so beautiful to realize. It's like, oh yeah, because that identity creates, I'm this bubble of this thing, and no, in fact, we are the expansion of light, and it's so there's no limitation there.
Yeah. It's so cool to be in that state because you have like a different perspective of yourself, of who you are, and rather what you are in truth. Yeah, like what did I want to say? Yeah, like regarding that symbol, like it's almost like 90% the same symbol as the not the Galactic Federation, the how do you call it in Star Trek? I don't remember, the Federation or whatever. It's
Starfleet,
90%. Yeah. Starfleet. It's like the 90% the same symbol. It's almost the same thing. They even have that little circular stuff going around it.
Yep.
And also, yeah, like when I was like realizing this stuff, I had also like a very interesting experience, like this out of body. I don't know if it was out of body. Maybe I went with my body on the ship. I have no clue, but it was like super real. Like we were in this space bubble thing. Like it was like a equivalent of maybe a van for us or something similar. But it was like this white bubble that had like a super great transparent part of it. And yeah, like the only thing, it was completely empty. It was just a floor and you could sit down on a bench or something. So that's all it was. And like three of us were like taken to Vulcan. And our guide was I don't know what it's called, like Sarek, or I don't know how that character is called. I think he's like Spock's father or something.
Oh,
And
okay.
that being looked exactly like that actor from the movie, basically. But he wasn't dressed that way, so he had his own uniform. But his face and his demeanor like mimicked that actor's behavior, basically.
Interesting.
And we went like traveled just in a couple of seconds to I don't know how many star systems. It was so beautiful. And we ended up in a planet which you would say like Vulcan is like super advanced, I don't know. And the whole thing looked like Northern Ireland with the sea coast and all those cliffs on the sea coast. And they were living in these like earth domes, and all the buildings were like underground because they didn't want to like disturb nature. And all the buildings that you could see on the surface were like this little like hobbit domes on top because they didn't want to disturb nature, basically. And yeah, like, and after I waken up, I had like a realization, like, okay, like, of course, I don't believe that was actually the Star Trek character, but when you see these stuff, they are basically like symbols that can be like deciphered later on. So I looked up who that character is in Star Trek lore. And yeah, like I found out that he's like the prime ambassador for the Federation, and he represents the Vulcan nation or something similar. And who were the I can't pronounce it. The Vulcans in Star Trek lore, like they were the race with whom humanity had first contact, and basically the Vulcans were who initiated humanity into the Galactic Society. So that's, from that perspective, is very interesting.
That is so cool. And you reminded me that most of these things that we see are meant mostly to be activations for us. As we are activators for each other, so are these symbols and these ideas and these things. And we get activated by some of these shows, even some of the, and it helps you to go to that space in your mind space and go there. It's beautiful. It's how everything is just designed so perfectly.
Yeah, I also had, I don't know, like any of you have seen the recent Dune movie that just got released. Like I couldn't see it in the cinemas, but I was home alone. And I think I watched like 20 minutes of it, and there were these awesome music and visuals with space travel and such. And I took a little break and I went out, and it was this beautiful starry sky. Like, we live in the countryside. There are no like street lights here. So you can see the Milky Way. And I was like looking up at the stars and I was like, oh my God, like so awesome. And I had like this huge activation. And next day I started to write a book.
Awesome.
Yeah. I only have 12 pages, but yeah, like it's hopefully I will finish it next year.
That's a good start.
Yeah, I was not expecting a Hollywood movie to ignite something like this.
Right. It's everywhere and nowhere, and there's no way to know where you're going to get the activation. Just follow what you're. Just go with the flow.
Absolutely. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Higher Vibrations. And if you're still with us, then check out Higher Vibrations YouTube channel. We will post the link below. Okay, so thank you for joining us, Higher Vibrations. I don't know if next week, can we hold one or maybe not?
If you'd like, yeah, you let me know.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, like, see you on the next one. And Merry Christmas to everyone. And see you soon. Happy holidays.